If you want a low-maintenance garden here in Vancouver, you have to stop trying to master nature and start working with it. Most homeowners I meet think that a beautiful yard requires spending every Saturday clubbing their plants into submission with shears and heavy fertilizers. But after 25 years of installing hundreds of landscapes, I've realized that the harder you fight your garden, the messier it gets. The secret isn't a greener thumb, it's shifting your mindset from being a plant collector to a system builder. Today, I'm sharing the 3 practical tips to transform your yard from a never-ending chore into a self-sustaining sanctuary that actually looks after itself. I've spent over decades as a landscape professional, and believe me, I've seen every mistake under the sun. I've even been called into court as an expert witness to testify about landscape disasters that could have been avoided with just a little bit of planning. My goal is to help you bypass the disaster phase and get straight to what I call a well-trained yard. A garden that stays healthy and beautiful for 20 years, not just for the day you buy the plants. The first mistake that makes a Vancouver garden a high maintenance happens before you even pick up a shovel. It's what I call impulse buy-in at the nursery. You see a plant that looks spectacular in its pot, you buy one and you bring it home. Then you do 10 more times with 10 different species. You end up with a bitty garden, one plant here, one there, creating a chaotic look that is a nightmare to maintain because every plant has different needs. Instead, you want to select a fairly small plant pellet and use it in bold, massed ways. When you mass plants, they create what I call a textural tapestry. Not only does this look more professional and impactful when they bloom together, but it also serves as a functional purpose. Densely planted beds allow the plants to jostle and eventually grow together, shading the soil so that the weeds simply have no room to germinate. You're creating a living mulch that suppresses weeds naturally. If you want a wow factor that lasts, aim for simplicity over variety. My second tip is about how you actually put your plants in the ground. Many busy homeowners think they're being kind by digging a hole and filling it with magic lush soil amendments or wood-based potting soil. In our heavy Vancouver clay, this is actually a death sentence for your plant. When you fill a hole with a completely different texture of soil than the ground around it, you create an interface. Green water will drain through that interface until the top layer is completely saturated. Effectively, you built the bathtub. The water stays trapped in that hole, the roots stay trapped in that tub, and the plant eventually drowns or suffocates because it can't root out into the native soil. The best approach is to use the native soil as much as possible for backfill. We want the roots to root beyond the original hole. Instead of trying to fix the soil in one tiny spot, focus on building the healthy of your entire yard by adding a thin layer of compost or mulch to the surface and letting the worms and microbes do the work for you. Think of it like your own gut health. We're trying to put the yogurt in the soil to build the biology. My final tip addresses the Blob syndrome. This happens when you plant a tree or shrub that is destined to get too big for the spot. Pretty soon, you're out there every few months hacking it back just so you can see out your window or walk down your path. When we club our plants into submission like this, they lose their natural beauty and just look like cubes or circles. Most normal sized trees, anything 25 feet tall or bigger, are simply too big for a typical Kitsilano lot. To avoid the high maintenance pruning cycle, you need to research the ultimate size of a plant before you buy it. Look for patio scale trees or compact cultivars. By selecting plants that can attain their natural form without outgrowing their space, you reduce your workload to almost zero. You want high output but low input plants. The proven performers that show up year after year, regardless of the weather, don't need you to be their full-time nurse. The transformation I want for you isn't just a pretty yard, it's a change in how you feel when you step outside. Gardening should be an interactive experience that drops your heart rate and provides spiritual solace. When you shift your focus from buying more plants to building a healthy system, the pressure to be perfect disasters. The lesson I've learned in nearly 30 years is that they who plant a garden plant happiness, but only if that garden is a process you enjoy, not a list of chores you hate. If you let the conditions of your land dictate your choices, you'll find that nature does most of the heavy lifting for you. If you're ready to stop the cycle of maintenance and want to know which specific proven performers I really rely on for the Vancouver climate, the plants that always work, then you won't want to miss tomorrow's video. For now, take 5 minutes this weekend. Don't pull a single weed. Just sit in your garden and listen to what your plants are trying to tell you. Compact, shorter plant, very small needles or leaves. And this is the Justin Browers. You can see the leaves are a little bit different, a little bit smaller. And then you got the True Dwarf Boxwood. It's coming out with different types of boxwood every year. So we're going to bring in a few different ones here, add to the group we already have. Like as you can see, this place is pretty big where we get our plants from. Lots of rhododendrons as well, azaleas. So everything's coming into bloom now. So we're gonna go check out some of the rhododendrons here. Looks like some of them are already kind of almost finished. Some of the purples, pinks are almost done there. A couple nice sort of white or like a peach color. And then you got the more purple gem varieties. This is a smaller leaf, smaller flower as well. But I'm gonna go with another variety which has like very small needles or very small leaves and smaller clusters of flowers. You can see some of the variegated forms too. The red flower there, the variegated leaf, quite a nice color. Lots still kind of just opening up at the moment. But the one I'm after is going to be this variety over here. Which, like I said, the leaves are even smaller than the other one I showed you. So you got the very tiny leaves, very small clusters of purple flowers on this one. So we're going to go for a few of these, bring them over to our store. So if you're looking for a shorter variety of rhododendron, these are great. They're only 2 to 3 feet tall, part sun, part shade. They flower for a little longer than the larger varieties do. Other than that, I'm going to take a look around and see what else I can grab. See, anyone have any questions on any of the plants, just let us know. I can usually pick up quite a few different varieties right now. There's also the Hixius, Heliius, which are a little more narrow than the Hixius. But the one other box that I'm looking for, oh yeah, they got a bunch of palm trees too. Looking for windmill palms. They got a good selection of these. I can grab them in different sizes. But the one I'm looking for the boxwood is the Graham Blandy, which I believe are these ones here. They're the tall, narrow boxwood. As you can see, they stay quite narrow. They grow all the way up, more of a columnar shape. Lots of conifers. And then back into some of these. I think these are all the Cedar Fricosa